much for being here today. Behind me is State Highway 1, which runs the length of New Zealand, which is a vital corridor along with other state highways which come off it and moves people and freight across the country. They're vital for our economic growth and prosperity and help us to stay connected with friends and loved ones. But in recent years we've all seen that road maintenance of the state highway network has not been up to scratch. Potholes have been plaguing our state highways. They are a safety hazard and cause significant disruption. Our government has inherited a significant backlog of road maintenance across the network, and we are now catching up on this maintenance deficit to ensure that Kiwis and freight can get where they need to go quickly and safely. The government is committed to repairing and preventing potholes from peppering our state highway. As you'll be aware, I recently announced a 91% increase in pothole prevention across the state highway network over the next 3 years. But increasing funding is not enough. We also need to ensure that that funding is going towards fixing the problems. As part of the pothole prevention activity class, we campaigned on having a standard response time for pothole repairs to be within 24 hours, and NZTA will now be delivering on this commitment for Kiwis and the freight sector. Today I'm pleased to announce that we are making good progress on this promise. The government's new pothole repair targets agreed between NZTA and roading contractors include a 95% of potholes on high volume national and arterial state highways will be repaired within 24 hours of identification, and 85% of potholes on regional, primary collector and secondary collector state highways will be repaired within 24 hours of identification. Achieving these targets will reduce the number of potholes on our roads, and the use of premium materials, innovative technologies and increased resources will prevent potholes from forming again in the same location. And with that, happy to take any questions. So NZTA will be taking a far more rigorous approach to monitoring. They're going to now be setting up daily calls with contractors across the countries, receiving real-time data on pothole repairs. Currently they receive that information at the end of the month. They're going to be receiving that information on a daily basis. They're going to be taking a far more proactive approach to fixing and repairing potholes across the country. So not only about a faster response time, but actually NZTA holding contractors accountable for this increased investment. Well, this is about the state highway network across New Zealand. That's what New Zealand Transport Agency is responsible for directly. There's also been a 50% increase in funding for local road improvements as part of the National Land Transport Program, which NZTA has confirmed indicatively. That's going to make a big difference for local councils as well, but this announcement today and this new standard will be on our state highway networks across New Zealand. Yes, we've had some briefings that have come through on that tragic accident. Thankfully no one lost their lives, but obviously there were some serious injuries, and I've asked for further information in relation to the information that NZTA had in terms of the condition of that road and what information they were providing to motorists using that piece of road, particularly with the black ice. Oh, look, I mean, I've asked those questions of the agency, obviously in relation to what information they had and what advice they were providing. Ultimately, decisions around road closures or what should have been done are questions for agency. I do have Brett Glidden here, who is the director responsible for the transport services at NZTA. I'm not sure if you wanted to add anything to that at this stage.
No, other than we'll do a full investigation. Sure. We'll do a full investigation alongside the police to work out what the contributing factors were, and if it sees that we need to make some changes to our operation procedures, we will. It's too early to say if the road needed to be closed prior to those accidents.
Well, ultimately, potholes appear. There has been an underinvestment in road maintenance over a number of years in terms of the asset. NZTA is now it's got a 91% increase in funding to be able to address that. I think last year there was 62,000 potholes on the state highway network which needed to be repaired, which is I think one of the largest numbers ever. And so that I think indicates the significant importance in terms of not just repairing them faster for improved service, but actually the increased the innovation and the new ways of actually repairing. In the past, the approach has typically been to put cold mix into the pothole. Ultimately, next time it rains, generally that requires another fix. This is going to, this funding uplift and the faster timeframes will be about actually having a more proper fix of that pothole so that it can then be properly repaired over summer months. So this is improving the standard of the repair to actually ensure that we're not just coming back in 6 weeks' time at the same time. Well, ultimately potholes are appearing on our roads all the time, and that is something which this is about, making sure that there's a quick response to that. In terms of the asset management plans, Brett can talk to the asset management plans in terms of the kilometres of renewals and that work which needs to be done. But ultimately, potholes are appearing. They need to be fixed quickly, but they also need to be fixed properly, and that's what this funding's all about.
Yeah. No, there's no current backlog as such. We introduced this 24-hour repair from the 1st of July, and we've had a real push with our contractors to get out on the network and start to repair those, and we're seeing good results already. So as the Minister said, potholes are appearing constantly. There's not a backlog in the system, but we are focused on making sure we get out and fix them within the 24 hours.
Well, I think this is part of it. There's an 0800 number which people can call in. It's in the press release which I've just put out. There's a 0800 number, and so ultimately NZTA's contractors can't be everywhere all the time. The public need to play their part, and I encourage the public, when they see a pothole, to please report that in, so that can help NZTA to ensure that contractors are keeping on top of the potholes on our roads and keeping our roads well maintained. Great. No, that's right.
With increasing road closures due to slips and major weather events, is it your expectation for NZTA to continue action programs, or are you open to rebuilding roads for resilience?
Well, ultimately today is about saying when potholes appear on the road, they need to be fixed within 24 hours. It's a new standard that will be required with a more permanent fix happening at that time. But as part of our pothole prevention activity class, we are expecting increased number of kilometres of rehabilitation and resealing on an annual basis, so that we're improving the quality of our roads at the same time. So yes, we need to be fixing them faster, but we also need to improve the asset management and maintenance of our roading network, and that's what the pothole prevention activity class is all about. Well, that was a significant investment. I think it was $70 or $80 million of funding put in there. That buys time. It makes that route far more resilient. But the government's identified that route from Auckland to Whangarei as a road of national significance in terms of ensuring that we have a four-lane expressway between Auckland and Whangarei. That's a long-term project. There's work underway to get that started as part of the GPS and part of the National Land Transport Program. We need to have the long-term modern infrastructure to unlock economic growth and productivity in New Zealand, whilst also making sure we're doing the resilience work now.
And is there enough money for maintenance when you want to build roads of national significance?
Well, absolutely. The GPS outlines a significant increase in funding maintenance, as well as a significant increase in funding for major new roading projects as well. We need to do both. We need to look after what we've got better, but we also need to make sure that we are building the modern, reliable infrastructure that New Zealand needs for the future, so we can get people and freight to where they need to go quicker and faster to unlock economic growth and productivity. That's what the roads of national significance is all about, and we're going to use a range of funding and financing tools to deliver those. Yes. Well, look, I think there's NZTA obviously has a role around auditing and making sure that the driver licensing test system is robust. At the moment, we're very concerned about how long it's taking people to get a test, and so we're taking a number of actions around that. There's international agreements in place with other countries in terms of international driver license conversions, which not only allow people to come and drive here, but allow New Zealanders to go and drive in other countries, and so that's important to recognise. But look, we're always looking at what is needed to make sure that we're improving safety in that regard, and we'll continue to receive advice on that issue. Great, thank you very much. Yes, sorry about this has been a very noisy location, but we do appreciate you coming out, so thank you very much.